Vesuvius, the wall of fire never dies out. It's impossible for us to expand towards Escalon.
No, we must expand. We can dig tunnels underground to charge into their villages from beneath.
Chapter 2. Vesuvius stood in the tunnel and looked up at the shafts of sunlight pouring down on him. Sunlight from Escalon. And he basked in the sweetest feeling of his life. The whole high above, those rays shining down upon him, represented a victory greater than any he could dream. The completion of the tunnel that he had imagined his entire life. Others had said it could not be built, and Vesuvius knew he had achieved what his father and his father before him could not. Had created a pathway for the entire nation of Marda to invade Escalon. Dust still swirled in the light, debris still filling the air from where the giant had punched a hole through the ceiling, and as Vesuvius stared through it, he knew that hole high above represented his destiny. His entire nation would follow on his heels. Soon, all of Escalon would be his. He grinned wide, already imagining the rape and torture and destruction awaiting him. It would be a bloodfest. He would create a nation of slaves, and the nation of Marta would double in size and territory. Nation of Marta! Advance! He shouted. There arose a great shout behind him as the hundreds of trolls crammed in the tunnel raised their halberds and charged with him. He led the way, charging up the tunnel, slipping and sliding on the dirt and rock as he made his way toward the opening, toward conquest. With Escalon in sight, he trembled with excitement as the ground shook beneath him. Tremors from the giant screeching up above, the beast, too, clearly thrilled to be free. Vesuvius imagined the damage the giant would do up there, let loose on a rampage, terrorizing the countryside, and he smiled wider. It would have its fun, and when Vesuvius tired of it, he would kill it. In the meantime, it was a valuable asset in his rampage of terror. Vesuvius looked up and blinked in confusion as he saw the sky suddenly darken up above, and he felt a great wave of heat come his way. He was baffled to see a wall of flame descending, suddenly covering the countryside. He could not understand what was happening as a horrific wave of heat came at him, scalding his face, followed by the roar of the giant, and then a tremendous shriek of agony. The giant stomped, clearly hurt by something, and Vesuvius looked up in terror as it inexplicably turned back around. Its face half burned. It charged back into the tunnel, underground, and right for him. Vesuvius stared, but could not comprehend the nightmare unfolding before him. Why would the giant turn back around? What was the source of the heat? What had burned his face? Vesuvius then heard a flapping of wings, a shriek even more horrific than that of the giant, and he knew. He felt a shudder as he realized what was up there, flying by, was something even more terrifying than a giant. It was something Vesuvius had never thought he'd encounter in his lifetime. A dragon. Vesuvius stood there, frozen in fear for the first time in his life. His entire army of trolls frozen behind him, all of them trapped. The unthinkable had happened. The giant was running scared from something even greater than itself. Burned in agony, panicked, the giant swung its huge fists as it descended, swiped with its vicious claws. and Vesuvius watched in terror as all around him his trolls were swatted. Whatever lay in its wrathful path was crushed by its feet, cut in half by its claws, smashed by its fists. And then, before he could get out of the way, Vesuvius felt his own ribs cracking as the giant scooped him up and threw him in the air. He felt himself airborne, tumbling end over end, the world spinning, and the next thing he knew, his head was smashing into rock, the awful pain ripping through his body as he impacted a stone wall. As he began to plummet to the ground, to lose consciousness, the final thing he saw was the giant, destroying everything, undoing all his plans, all he had worked for, and he realized he would die here, far beneath the earth, but feet away from the dream he almost had.